All right. Welcome, everyone. Gave you 2 iterations of this beautiful song, at least some of you. So I think, and we have over 90 people in the room. So very excited to get this started with you. Let me just start up the slides so you can see this properly. So very warm welcome from myself. My name is Tobias Schimmer. I'm the CEO at FileWave. I've been at FileWave now for almost 11 months. And, you know, I'm really enjoying the journey more by the day that I have been here. We've already gotten quite far. And today, you know, is another marker for me, given that this is my 4th event with you guys. And it's one of my favorite events because it gets me to interchange with many of you. And today we'll share more of what our current work is and what our current direction is that we want to take the company in. I have with me Vasily Suvorov. He's the Chief Technology Officer, and he will get us started with, I think, something that everybody here is very interested in. You know, the investments that we are taking into the product, and I think the key things that we're working on the product side. So with that, over to you, Vasily.
Thank you, Tobias. Very excited to be here, and warm welcome to everybody. I've been with FileWave for slightly more than 12 months now, and just as Tobias, I also enjoy the journey. We keep accelerating and keep doing the right things, and just reflecting on the last 12 months in different events that I have attended, I think it's important to put things into perspective, and that perspective is, we're starting from relatively strong base. The company has been around for a long time, 15, 20 years actually. And when we look inside our product reflects that evolution, right? It has all kinds of interesting features in it. It supports all kinds of interesting use cases. And it certainly grew out of a certain, on-prem type of situation to support various types of operating systems. However, the world is changing around us, and being on board and seeing what's happening around us. We interacted with many of you. Heard the need to move faster, to support new features faster, being able to support changes to the operating system faster, but also become more modern and become more suited for evolution of IT, right? So this is our mission, really, to help you manage not only the IT landscape as it is today, but also prepare for the future and solve some of the big and important problems around automation, around ease of use, around scalability, around supporting working from home, from anywhere, study in a hybrid environment, all these different things. And so we've been working quite a bit on understanding where do we need to invest and what are the priorities for us to move the product forward. And the things that you see on the slide, this 4 bullet points is essentially where we're investing. So let me just quickly talk through that. My introduction will be followed up to greater depth by Tony Keller, who will walk you through much more intimately through all these different areas, so you will actually get a taste for what's really going on. But let me just summarize, I guess, the reasons and what we're really focusing on. So first one is, that as a company, we've been talking about web UI for a while now. I think it's 4 years to be exact, right? Unless I'm mistaken. And we have never really gotten completely to give you the tool that really functions in the web. So it's really time that we change that. And we have decided that the best strategy to do that would be to start taking complete workflows that exist in the tool that you all know and that works most of the time well for you, the so-called native UI, and start moving that to the web so you can do these things completely in the web, step by step, right? So Tony again will walk you through that. The idea here is that you see the progress, we get the feedback from you, and can react in time, prioritize features, and my reference to the reach past of our product is really meant to highlight the fact that maybe some of the features that we have in the product are no longer that important to you, right? And the best way for us to learn about that is to give you the tool that has some of these workflows and react to what needs to be changed, what needs to be updated, right? Actually, that migration works hand in hand with cleaning up the code base. Again, here the reference to the rich history comes handy, because obviously if you keep building up the house, right, after a while you kind of need to take a look at it and say, is it structurally sound, right? Does it serve the purpose? So when we look at our code base, there's things there that actually do not allow us to move fast, right? Also, because we haven't really finished this transition, at the back end, we sometimes have to do things 2 times, right, in 2 different places, which also limits our capability to move faster. So we need to, take a good look at that. We are taking a good look at that. We're changing that with the end result for you, that the code is becoming much more modular. That means, we can move faster. That means it works better. It's more reliable. And you will see your everyday benefits there, right? Now, that also brings me to the next point, right? So what's the future just beyond making things easier for you to use and us being able to react faster and move faster? That's obviously us providing more complete service. I think it's very normal these days that customers expect that when they consume enterprise solution, that solution is being managed for them, right? They don't have to upgrade it. They don't have to maintain it. They can just use it, right? And this is our goal. We've actually done quite a bit of things already in terms of setting up our cloud platform and preparing for the move. And as we do the cleaning up of the code and make it more modular, more ready in making architectural changes to make it more ready for cloud, you will start seeing these benefits as well. And this work is an important work that continues, and we're making a lot of progress. So as we make these changes, you will see it and hopefully give us good feedback for that, right? Finally, I said that a lot of these changes meant to unleash our productivity, remove the blockers for us to move faster and support you better. But obviously, you're the customers, you using the code, you have the issues that need to be solved. So we really want to hear from you. How can we be, how we can be better? And last year, we have already introduced product board and have started opening the feedback cycle. And thank you very much for providing the feedback. There was actually there was a lot of good things there. But now we actually making next steps and making it even more integrated, especially for the new functionality that we'll be releasing into the web, where you can provide feedback right in the application itself and let us know very quickly what works, what doesn't, what could be improved. So those things are important. Just to summarize, we're making a lot of changes, learning from the history, taking the best parts of it and making it future-proof. With one single purpose: make us work better for you, right? This is what we're actually trying to do. With that, back to you, Tobias.
Thank you, Vasily. That's a great summary. So, just to double down on that, I think it's also showing in not only the things that Vasily has talked about, how we're, allocating the time and efforts on our product. We're also doing that or showing that by heavily investing in our team. So this year we're adding 29 positions to FileWave, and especially on the technical side, we're really bolstering up the teams, right, to really increase our ability to execute along the priorities that Vasily talked about. And here I want to showcase a few talents that we're able to win that have already started. So there's Maximilian Ode. He's the head of cloud platform. So he is actually spearheading a lot of the work that Vasily just talked about, right? Making our product cloud ready and really make it a lot easier for you in the future to maintain the latest version and basically work with FileWave. We were also able to convince Jürgen Schulz-Brissel, based in Berlin, to join us. He's the head of the Agile practice. So he works with the Scrum Masters, basically on the plumbing of FileWave, right, to make that more effective and really increase the rate at which we will churn out new features and innovation eventually for you guys, right? So I think both the plans that Vasily has talked about, but then also I think the people that we're adding, I think if you bring these together, I think we're on a great trajectory. On the business side, we've also signed a couple of new talents that make me very excited. I actually heard earlier that there might be quite a few prospects in this call, right? And we want to be a better interface to potential customers that are interested in FileWave as well, next to you existing customers. That's why we have signed a director for enterprise sales in EMEA. And we also have signed a global head of marketing who will help us to communicate, much better to prospects, but then also to you, our existing customers, and really make that communication between FileWave and the world out there much more fluent. So I think more to come. These guys will be announced once they've started. They will start in the next 2 months. So at the next Alliance event, we can also tell you a bit more of who they are. Next up, so I think I'm a big fan of measuring things and measuring how we're actually doing, because one is the stories you tell and the things you do, but in the end, I think I also want to get some quantitative data on whether that's actually whether you agree with what we're telling, the story that we're telling, and that's why we are measuring the Net Promoter Score once every quarter. And here you can see 2 curves. The blue one is for product and the red one for support. For those of you who don't know the Net Promoter Score, basically what it is, it's a very simple question. It's a one question where you basically rate the product or the support on a scale from 1 to 10. And then science has shown that basically, the top scores, these people that score you very well, they would typically promote you. And then, the lower scores, they're typically detractors, so they wouldn't recommend you. And then there's a neutral section in the middle. And the NPS score, all it is really subtracting how many promoters you have from how many detractors you have. And if it's above 0, it basically means, right, you have more people that like your product than people that don't like the product. And then the industry has come up with, and I've tried to kind of make that visible with the color code here, with certain fields of where you can be and where you should be. So between 0 and 30, it's good. Between 30 and 70, it's great. And then above 70 is excellent. To give you some perspective, I think to get to excellent, like you have to be a really amazing product, right? So something like Apple would achieve scores above 70. I think in our field, if you get to the great section, that's already very, very good. Yeah, if I look at the scores of the peers. So let's talk about the results, right? So I think what you can see is that we have started kind of low in Q4 on the product, just above needs improvement, but now we're able to stabilize, I think, on a decent, right? A decent level. But obviously we're not satisfied, and I think that's why we're doing all the work that Vasily talked about. That's why we're heavily investing into people that will help us get the work done that we showed you. And yeah, we're hoping to really, increase that score again and really get the product into the great region in the next couple of quarters. I think what makes me very happy is the support curve. As you can see, it's already been on the great scale with a score of 30 in Q4 20 and then also Q3 21. And now we really had a big jump up in Q4 21. So it makes me very happy, and big kudos to the FileWave support team who, I think this is showing, is doing a good job out there to really try and service you, our customers, the best we can. Like, this is a continued priority. We'll continue to invest and support, we believe, because our product is very deep. We think it's a key part of our offering, and we really want to continue on that tracking. So we have just launched the next NPS survey yesterday, and I would appreciate if you would fill it out. If you haven't received it, here's the QR code that you can scan, and then I think someone on the team will also put the link in the chat. Please participate. It's 3 simple questions, one on product, one on the support, and then I think one on recommendation. So it only takes 2-3 minutes max. It's very little of your time, but it really helps me to actually put some numbers behind the sentiment on the front lines of you guys using our product, because I do realize that every situation is a little different, right? So every customer is using the product different, and sometimes there are issues. We know that with the product in certain circumstances. So I do want to continue collecting this picture and get some data to make sure that we are holding ourselves accountable as well to make sure we are on the right track with what we're building for you guys. So that brings me to the agenda of today's meeting. As Vasily has linked to, I think we have a couple of very exciting topics or deep dives. So next up will be a deep dive into the topics that Vasily has talked about, and I think a very practical deep dive actually. And it sprang out of a discussion that Tony Keller, our VP of Product Management and Reliability, had with John Humphrey, a very valued and long-term customer of ours, where John asked some very, I thought, very holistic and very good practical questions about, hey, what does this mean for me as an existing customer, right? What does this journey look like for me? And the guys are gonna dig into that and basically replay that conversation that they had together with the answers that we provided to John. And then after that, also very exciting, we have Manu from Belgium. He's a very long-term partner. He's been a partner of FileWave of over 20 years. So it links to kind of the legacy of FileWave. He's a super talented IT consultant, and he's going to showcase some of the depth that we are providing and some of the things that you can do with FileWave. So again, I think very, very exciting part of the agenda. After that, we'll wrap up, give you a bit of an outlook of what's coming in the next couple of months, what kind of events are happening as well. And then we'll conclude with Ask FileWave Anything, which is basically an open session where you can ask any kind of question. I always say there's no stupid questions, both around FileWave in general, but then obviously also technical around the product and so on and so forth. So with that, very excited to get to the next section. Over to you, Tony.